So one-way binding and two-way binding. Two-way binding, we done that by using event binding concept. So we will see 1-2 examples to clearly understand the concept. So what we discussed yesterday was how we can identify the changes and how we can bind. So already we discussed that you can bind on any event, but if you are binding to value, right? If you are binding to value property, the value is user name, then it should be on change. It should be on change. So this on change will allow to handle change. So that username and uppercase. Okay, right. So it can access that username and display. And whatever changes we are making, it will update the changes. Now we will see one simple example how we can handle different types of controls. How to handle different types of control. This is working fine. Already we discussed. Yesterday I told you that when you bind a value, it will be read only, right? Why it is read only? Points I explained, right? Because if you are not using change, you cannot use value binding, right? Now we will see one simple example how we can handle. Let's create a simple form. We'll see one example now. Already yesterday, just basic level example I showed you. Let's see one simple example how to configure. I'm creating a simple two-way binding example. Let's add a component here. So in components, I'm adding a component two-way binding. So component just two-way binding.js. Okay. Let's configure. You have to import, and here we will import use state from React, and export function, default function, and the function we are configuring as two-way binding. Okay. Now it should return a simple markup. So here I will create a simple form, class container fluid, and let's keep a div class as row, and we have a div. So the class is call some3, and we have a div, the class as some call 9. Left side, we are defining details, some register product. And in this, we are creating a data list, data term. So the product name, and we will put a text box. And here we will define some price, and we will use input type is equal to text. And we will define some city. That means we will configure here city, and data definition here we will use a select. So let's keep select with option as Delhi. So the option Hyderabad like this. And let's keep another. Just our intention is to understand different types of elements. So I will say stock, and here I will keep input type is equal to checkbox. And what I will do is this checkbox, I will use a modern checkbox for that. Stock I will give here available. Okay, so this is the two-way binding, and let's keep in the startup two-way binding. Okay, and this is the form. Now I will keep this in a little bit more better style. So class name form control, And here the class name form control, and city we will put the class name form select. Yeah. And stock I will put the class name form switch, and class name form check input. So this is a simple form here. This is the form. We have the name, we can enter some product name, some Samsung TV. We can enter some price, and we can choose a city, and we can select the stock available or not. This is a checkbox. And when I submit, then these details need to be collected and updated. Means on submit, just we will collect the detail and display beside, right? That means here I want to display the detail beside. Later we can post that to APIs. With for that we need APIs. We need to learn how to communicate. Here we are learning how to collect the data from form and use the data, how event binding works. So here for that what we will do, we will keep here a button, and this is class BTN and BTN primary, and this is register button. Let's keep W100. Okay. Now right side I want to display the product details. Whatever details entered, I need to collect the details and display them here. That means user will enter the name, price, city, stock, and click on register. Whatever details entered, we have to collect and display right side, whatever the details they have entered. Now, how do you manage this functionality? Collecting the data from form, and we are updating. Traditionally, one of the major drawback with React is React can originally do this, but because it is a failure in two-way binding, it doesn't have two-way binding technique. You have to depend on lot of event binding techniques. Compulsory. There is no alternative with only React. That is the reason developers are not interested in this type of approach of React. We are never satisfied with this React forms. Then we look for third-party forms, which can make interaction with the forms more easier and better. So React allows handling interaction, but it's a very lengthy process because the drawback of React is not supporting two-way binding. And if it is not supporting two-way binding, then how to handle this? See how much lengthy process. For that, we will find a solution. We will use the third parties to make this simplified. But without third party, how React can do it? Let's see. So what we are expecting from the form? What we will do here, so we will configure a state. So constant, we are configuring product, and we have set product. For every product, use state. For every product, what you are expecting? Details. I'm expecting an object. This object contains name. It is initially empty, and it contains price. It is 0. That means it is number. And we have city. City is also string, and we are expecting stock. Stock is a boolean. Boolean is false. These are the basic details we are expecting. That means product contains the name, the price, the city, and stock. Now what I have to do is, when user clicks the submit button, see, first important is when user enters name, I have to collect the name. When user enters the name, I have to collect name. That means first we need to identify the change in the name, and we need to access. Then what you have to do? We have to write so many functions now. What are those functions? One function to handle name. So another function to handle price. Another function to handle city. Another function to handle stock. These are all required. Now these will fire up when user is making changes in those fields. That means what should happen here? So when user changes, that means here on change, it should change. That means handle name. Similarly, on change, it should handle price. And similarly here on change, that is drop down. So it should handle city. And here on change of this checkbox on change. So handle stock. We need to define this. That is basic. These are the things we need to manage. Now, very important is here, when you are configuring this, when name, handle name, we have to collect the new name they entered inside the text box. Through event argument, you can do it. Right? Through event argument, you can do it. And where to store? We have to store inside this product. But product is having other details also. It's an object. So what I have to do? I have to set product. In that set product, it is an object. In this, what are the properties? Name. In the name, we should get the value from text box. E dot target dot value. That's how we collect the value from text box. What about price and city? The price and city must be whatever the price and city they already have in product. That otherwise, if you don't mention price and city, it will make them empty every time. So every time you have to access this object. That means what we have to do. So price will be from product dot price. That means whatever the product price is mentioned, it will get that price. Similarly, what will be the city? City will be same. It will be product dot city. What will be the stock? Stock will be product dot stock. That means only the name is updated from this particular handle name. And other details we have to mention. If you are not mentioning them, it will set them to default 0. So every time, what this indicates? This indicates that already if handle price is storing some price, it will collect that price and it will store in this price location. If you don't mention this, all will be empty every time. Only one will be updated, others will be empty. So we need to keep all the existing details. So the same thing you have to do for every method. On handle price, I hope you know what to do now. We have to collect E. This name will come from where it will come from? Product dot name. Only the price will come from the price text box. That means E dot target dot value. I hope you understood how to collect the data. And how do we update this data? So again, same. We have to collect E, the event argument. And here this name is same. The product dot name. Price is also product price. City comes from E dot target dot value. Because it is also drop down. Drop down also will have a value. Text box, passwords, checkboxes. Now checkboxes, let's see. What about this stock? Here also product dot name. But this stock is we have to get event argument E dot target dot checked, not value. You know that checkbox checked will return true or false. Stock is of what type? Boolean. So stock is not expecting a string here. Stock is a Boolean type. It is expecting a Boolean type. Boolean type means you have to handle the Boolean. You have to configure that Boolean here. That means checked will return the Boolean. Okay, now we need to collect all this information and display right side. Here we want to display. All the information must be updated here. When you should update that information? When user clicks the button. So here, without clicking the button, you can update. Actually, what you can do simply, here you can put a data list in the data term. So this is name, data definition. You know how to access it. What is it? Product dot name. That's it. You can bind. Another data term price, and here data definition product dot price. Another data term is city, and here data definition. This is product dot city, and here data term is a stock, and data definition. Here I will use an expression. Product dot stock is equal to true. Then I will put a string. Available. Otherwise, I will put a string out of stock. That's how we define. Now these are the details we are collecting and displaying right side. And I am entering the details. So it will get the details while you are typing. I am entering the price. It will get the price. I am selecting a city. It will get that city. I am selecting the stock available. It is available. So off, then out of stock. That means we are handling this while user is typing. While user is making the change, we are collecting that information and we are handling. But I don't want that. I want this to happen after user clicks this register. That means you can update level by level, or we want this to happen after he finished this. That means after editing all details, then click register. Now I have to collect that and update. Then how do we manage this? How we can handle that? Very simple, nothing but what we doing here. Directly we are updating into this product and we are displaying it. That is the reason what happens whenever you are changing name, automatically while changing itself, it will update the details. Update the details. If you don't want like that, then you can do one thing. You can create another new product, right? And set new product, and it is use state. It is using state. Now what this new product is, this new product is empty, nothing it is having. What we can do is we can use here that new product related details. That means we can use that new product related details. That means I am using new product name. I am using here new product price. But new product is empty, nothing is there, right? So we have new product city, new product city, and you have new product stock, new product stock. All these are empty actually. This new product is empty, nothing is there inside it. New product is empty, nothing there inside it. As of now, you will get an error obviously because new product is not having name, price. These details are not there. It is completely empty. It is not having those fields at all. Usually you see here. So when we inspect, now in the inspect, obviously the 4 errors we are expecting related to all the fields. That means name is not there. Similarly, price is not there. It will display all that information here. But here what we need to do is, here we need to collect that and display. So actually this new product should store this product. Whatever you defined in this product, it should be updated into new product when user clicks the button. So we will write here function. We will write a function that is handle register, handle register click, register click, register click. That's what we are configuring. Now you see here handle register click. Here you can see still you have the problems in the fields because the same option. The problem in the fields is nothing but it is unable to access the property called name. In two-way binding, it is having the problem. That is nothing but you have to configure this new object is also what type of object? Product. That means this new object is having name empty. It is also having price, and it is also having city. It is also having stock, same what we defined. So false. Can you tell me, is there any option to clone objects in JavaScript? Actually, we have the options assigning object, right? Another is object name, deep shallow. Actually, we have the copy methods. Generally array have copy methods. Arrays copy methods are there. Array copy methods are nothing but you can copy the elements and its structure into another, right? Arrays, objects, you can create a shallow copy. The shallow copy is nothing but without disturbing the content. So it will just define the structure. One object structure can be assigned to another object. That can be done by using copies, shallow copies. You can assign or you can create some shallow copies. Actually, arrays will have that option. So objects will have that option. In several majority React interviews, we have seen this question, right? What is a shallow copy? How to create a shallow copy of arrays or objects in React interviews for experienced people, especially because generally learners will know about how to create objects, how to create arrays. But as I already told you, we can destructure object. You can destructure arrays. We can create copies of objects and arrays. We will see. In the next levels, we are going to see how we can create the copies and handle them. Initially, I am just hard coding everything here. Now you can see that new product is also having the same properties. So you can see all are having the same properties. But important, all these properties are configured into it empty. But what should happen while typing? So the details, Samsung TV, it's not updating there. I'm entering price, it's not updating. I'm selecting, it is not updating because this object is different and right side object is different. Now what we have to do on register click, we assigned it. That means on register click, the data is updated. That means we are assigning the data into this on register click. If I don't use that register click, that means I'm not using any another object for handling the data. Then what it will do, it will update immediately while you are making the change. Right? That means here I changed the city, it is not updated until or unless I click register. I make change in the stock, it is not updated until or unless I click register. So you have to handle the events. So whatever changes you are making and update, then that will be updated here. Right? There are so many methods here, but this is very lengthy process and this is never satisfied to developers. You will say that JavaScript is better, sir. Right? Because JavaScript is better in this kind of design. It's very simple. It looks very complicated. Handle change for text box, handle change for price, handle change for drop down. React cannot do other than this. If you ask, so can React, is there any another shortcut? There is no shortcut. This is only the way how React can understand. And developers are not satisfied with this. We are not satisfied with this. What you are doing this, right? So that is the reason 100 to 100% we depend on third parties. Third party libraries to handle the forms, to interact with the forms. Those third party libraries provide simple techniques of designing a form, collecting the data from the form and updating. Right? For that, we need to learn some third parties. We will not touch them until or unless we learn all the basics first. That means we will not touch the third parties until or unless we know what React itself can do. What React will do, what third party can do. We will see that later. In React, this is how it can manage the data coming from a form. And if you want to send this data to some API, then what you have to do? On register click, we have to send this product to APIs. Later we will see that. That means on submit, we have to send the data to API. We will write our AJAX methods to send the data to the API. So this is one simple example, two-way binding. The simple example of two-way binding. Two-way binding.js. This is the example. Here we learned two things, how we can collect the data updated from every element. And after collecting the updated data from every element, we are storing that in a reference. This reference you can directly use, or you can create another copy of it and you can copy that into that product. So this is a technique of handling two-way binding, how we can manage the event and how we can configure the events.